one of the greatest king in the history. All right. So having said that, good morning, good afternoon to all the distinguished professors and my dear friends. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present my knowledge in this changing world of data analytics. Whoever knew that I was like the last time I gave a speech, and probably in the month of January or maybe February, sorry, February first week, to the SSIT sixth sem students, and now we are talking that we are in a pandemic position, right? So things are changing, and I believe change is good, but this is something very odd. But we got to be staying positive. So having said that, I would like to present to you my insights and my knowledge about the changing world in data analytics. Let me know if you can. Let me know someone if my screen has been like if you guys can see my screen. Anyone? Am I able to? Everyone is able to see my screen? One person
Yes, sir.
should confirm. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, changing world of data analytics. All right. When I was in 2012, graduating from SSIT, data analytics, or the science of data, was different. The world of data was different than the world of data now. There was there was no term of like COVID-19, or to be very specific, there was no term called end COVID-19, and how businesses would perform under pandemic, or how businesses won't perform under pandemic, how to create a software to run in pandemic, contactless software, how to code a software to create in pandemic, how to so there was nothing as such. So this gave me a thought like how the world has changed over time, and not even the world, like there's a different mini world that is changing, with the world of data analytics which is changing. So here I am, myself, Abishek Mukherjee. I'm a senior associate marketing analysis at Home Hardware. So as I said, change. So I guess everyone likes change, when the change is for betterment, but most of the people, most of us, like it's a human psychology that we don't like change when it's not suitable according to us. So what we do is like we don't adapt to that change. All right, it's like for example, to be very specific, on a electronic communication, coming from an electronic communication background, with microcontrollers, microprocessors, things are changing, right? Semiconductors have changed. The world of semiconductors has changed. We have gone from this bigger size to this smaller size, and in terms of like computer science, coding, different Python. When I was there, there was no traces of Python, and now Python is ruling the world. Whoever know that when you guys will be like 8 years down the line in your work experience, there would be some other coding language that would rule the world, right? So it's very necessary to adapt to that change. If you're rigid, so if the world would change for sure, but if you do not change, if you do not upgrade according to the changing world, if I believe that everyone is a software. So if the software version is not upgraded from your end, then you will be expired in this changing market, because your version would come down, and that happened to so many software versions. All right, nobody, like hardly any of you would talk about Yahoo now. All right, everyone talks about Google. All right, hardly anyone talks about Netscape. We had dial-up internet connection. Now we are connecting through cloud, Google. Imagine, imagine, like when I was in like 8th grade, my father bought us like a disk like CD to dial-up modem, like dial-up connection for internet. So if you don't change, guys, you will be expired. So that's the motto, like change according to what is changing around you. So change for me is the spice of life, right? All right. So now, every one of you have different industries, right? Like different industries, and so starting from like travel and hospitality, you travel from Bangalore to probably Chennai, to cities in Kerala, Bangalore to like Malaysia outside. So when you travel, you have you book a car, you go to the airport, you buy something through your credit cards. You have that you have your name and your email ID on the page, on the printed e-print or whatever, and you board the flight. You go to the destination, you deboard yourself from the flight, and then you book a taxi. So everything that you're doing as a customer to the flight or as an individual has a data, all right? And that's just related with travel and hospitality. It has a data. So when you do something, it's a behavior, right? So for example, my travel would be different from your travel. My stay at a hotel would be different from your stay. I might prefer a certain hotel, and you might prefer a different kind of hotel, all right? So it's a whatever you do becomes nowadays a data, which is your behavior. That's why the data is the new gold mine, not only for travel and hospitality, for manufacturing, life sciences, retail, banking and insurance, banking and finance, healthcare. So there might be, so for example, if I talk about healthcare, all right, I believe everyone should be healthy, all right? In this pandemic situation, especially, everyone should be healthy. But there are health issues with some of our elders or some of our senior citizens, or maybe like with our brothers, big brothers, or maybe I touch wood, like nobody should go through this, but everyone suffers. Like I suffered of a few health issues during my childhood. But when you suffer a health issue, it becomes a data that you have this data, you have these problems, all right? And now, if I use that data, I can do the science, I can do the insights behind it, and give you the best recommendation according to your health behavior. It's like when you go to a hospital, it's a health behavior that is like causing to respond. So for example, if you're suffering from cold and cough often, and I as a data analyst at healthcare industry would come down to your name or to your ID, and will see that, oh fine, you're suffering from cold and cough, let me give you a discount on cold and cough products. So next time you go to my pharmaceutical, you will get a discounted cold and cough, but that will make you a happy customer, and you buy and I would buy something else, maybe a healthy milk drink, like maybe a Milo or a Complan or something, or maybe like some healthy products, like health products, like maybe some vitamins, multivitamins, or maybe some protein. All right, so this is how you increase your customer experience by knowing your customer's behavior. So every industry does that, especially retail. Like I belong from retail. So whatever you buy in retail, it becomes an every industry has this data metrics. Like it's coming from you, right? Earlier, this like what changed to this was never ever, like when I was a kid or when I was growing, never ever these datas were recorded. Now we have systems where we capture all those datas. Like I've never seen my dad when I was a child to pay by credit card. I've never seen. Like my dad, not even owe a credit card right now. He's that old school. but like I've never seen my dad like paying by credit card. But that now when you pay by credit card, they know your location, they know from where are you buying, what you're buying, at what place are you buying, what exact location in Bangalore are you buying, all right? So they know everything for you, all right? So that's why it's very necessary that um, how the data is recorded and how accurate the data is recorded. It's very much necessary. So this is a never-ending relationship, and this relationship will go further down, all right, in the coming days, with every point of your movement being tracked as a data. Google Maps does that right now. So if you go from a home to your work and your workplace to your home, Google Map tracks what place did you stop, where did you where did you had a break, or did you have a detour, everything. And then there are further insights to that, right? What, like, did you stop at a ATM, or did you stop at a restaurant, or did you did you stop at a convenience store? Uh, then like how much time you spend there. So everything is getting recorded, all right? So it's a never-ending relationship. When I say never-ending relationship, all right, so that brings you to the career graph. So data is changing, industry is changing. So why not the career? Because everything is changing, right? Because people get employed through an industry. And so when I speak about getting employed, that means a new age career. A new age employment means a new age career. A new age data relationship would come with a new age career. So there are. I hope you guys. I hope you guys studied about Venn diagram. Obviously, everyone, we are engineering students. We studied about Venn diagram, right? So as you know, there are three circles. So there is one part. This is one circle. Mathematics and statistics. So for all you guys, all you third year students or fourth year students, all you guys, those who thought that mathematics is over for your life, well, newsflash, I'm sorry, it's not over. It's just starting, because mathematics and statistics is one part, would be, if that will be aligned with your career, if you want to pursue that kind of career graph in data analytics, right? The second part, computer science. So when I say computer science, it doesn't mean like core computer science. It also means like microprocessor, semiconductor programming, and all those stuff. So anything related with a coding, right? So that's computer, because you do it on a computer, right? So yeah, you code on a chip. It's kind of a mini computer. So it's like basically it involves the world of computer science plus the world of microprocessors and codings and all math labs and stuff like that. Yeah. Uh, Third world, obviously the business domain world. All right. So this business domain world is where I always wanted to explore. So I did my mathematics and I did my I did my microprocessor coding and other codings that I learned in TCS and in SSIT when I was a student. But this business domain knowledge came while I was working in TCS. Like, where is my work going as a business? But it was very necessary for me to know more about business. So that's why I pursued MBA, and my majors was business analytics, because I wanted to keep mathematics, the coding part, the computer science part, and obviously the business knowledge which I have gained and still gaining uh, in my MBA and post my MBA. But when you see the intersections of these three circles, so if you combine mathematics and statistics with business, that becomes advanced analytics. All right, so take it like business analytics. So this one would be like business analytics. So what does business, when you combine business with maths, like for example, regression lines, correlations, ARIMA models like average auto regressive lines, all right, and then moving average. So anything that is that you're doing in a mathematical, logical way and putting science into the data, and then trying to resolve a business problem with the business data that you have, that becomes advanced analytics. Similarly, if you compare this circle with computer science, then it becomes machine learning, because you're actually telling the data that through zeros and ones, you're actually doing a formula or a statistical formula or a mathematical formula, and trying to tell the machine that you learn this data. So machine is not a human being, all right? You're telling the machine to learn this data. So if you want to pursue maths plus computer science further as a master's student, or maybe like try to experiment that while you're working, that you'd be actually doing machine learning, all right? But if any one of you wants to pursue maths and statistics along with business, you would be doing advanced analytics. But some of you would be from computer science, or like they like coding, math labs and all, and they want to also gain business knowledge. So that becomes data analytics. That is data analytics. So this one, I would say advanced or business analytics, because it involves statistics and maths, but this involves coding and business. So, I mean, when I say, so for example, when I say that I want to know how much sales I had last week compared with last year's same week, then that's a business problem. I have this huge set of big data. I write a SQL query, all right? That's a very basic database query. I pull that data, and maybe there will be like some million rows from that data, all right? And I try to extract it on a visualization tool and try to showcase that on a visualization tool. That becomes your data analytics. But when I say this, then there is like all the combination of the three circles becomes data science. So if you want to get into this core, right? So you have to know all of these three circles. And that's why when I see data science, or if somebody says, I want to become a data scientist, it's actually a combination of all these three circles. It's not a combination of just this and this, or this and this. It's actually a combination of all these three circles. So you know how Venn diagram formula works, right? So this is it. That should be, if your idea is to go over there, then you should concentrate on all these three circles. And this, for me, is a new career graph, or new age career graph, where students like you should look into and drill more down into like what they want to do. It's pretty clear. You don't have to be doing this. You can be good at computer science and business. Fine, data analytics. You would earn good. You would get opportunities to further promote yourself. And then, like if you like maths and business, you can do this. If you like maths and computer, you can do this. It's not necessary that you have to do this. No. If you don't like coding, fine. Computer science goes. You like maths, you like business, fine. Or maybe just you like business, so you will be staying in this domain. You will be functioning. All right. So if you want to become a mathematics professor or a statistical professor, you have to just know this. If you have to be a computer science professor, you have to just know this, right? So every my bad. Sorry. Every learning of your career in a new age graph is a consequence to where you will land as a role, as a job role. All right. So the education that you get right now has an impact on your job role, or the education that you want to perceive in future, maybe your master's, or maybe you want to like do some certifications while you're working, has an impact. So right now I just showed you this, right? But it has an impact in terms of job roles of where you want to go. So for example, if you want to be a programmer, all right, you want to be, and you're looking at a hacker. So the hacker not only does programming, but it overlaps with statistics. It overlaps with communication, all right? And now the accountant guy over here, he has a slight overlap on programming, but then again, like he is not that much into programming. But the IT guy over here, he's into programming, he's into business. The accountant guy is like majorly into business. All right. And here comes the perfect data scientist. So when you come to perfect data scientist, all the four circles are overlapping over here. All right. That means if you want to be a data scientist, you have to be a good communicator, you have to be a good statistician, you have to be a good programmer, you have to be good in business. All right. As an analyst, I'm looking something like in this corner. So I'm trying to achieve myself as a good as a good data scientist or as a good consultant, if I may say. So as a good consultant, I want to be a good statistics with data. Obviously, I want to be a good communicator, and I want to be good at programming. Um, it's a part of business. It's not the entire core that I'm like. So this is the core, but this is not the core. But like yeah, as a good consultant, I want to know more about the programming, and I want to know part of business. But I want to be a diverse consultant. All right. As a stats professor, obviously, as you're seeing over here, it's majorly into stats and communication. All right. So it's nothing has to do with business or something like that because you are just playing with data. So as a computer science professor, communication, programming for sure. So these are the two overlaps. So um, head of IT, the three overlaps that comes is like communication, probably business, and then programming. So this is what it speaks about. Like what you want is exactly in this graph. Is like it's like majorly all the roles are in this graph. I would be curious like because if you're an engineer, it would be something around like statistics or programming. So you would be taking you want to, and obviously I believe that you guys are planning to be a good communicator. So having said that, uh, even if you are an introvert person, you're not a good communicator. You can always take the statistics, programming, and business, and you can be one of these guys. You can be one of these guys over here, right? Not necessarily you have to be a data scientist or be a computer science prof, or maybe a stats prof. No, not. It's not like that. It's choose your field, all right? And these graphs are very much important for your career right now to choose what you want, right? Because it's changing. It's a vast field. It's a vast analytical field. It's changing, and you have got the options. When I was there, I didn't get so many options, right? So education and job roles. So education, industry, and skills. All right. So when I was there in 2015 in TCS, all right, PwC did a survey that okay, what would be the roles that would be like have a highest 5-year growth? So they came up with like human resource analytics manager, data scientist, data engineer, and yes, these are in demand right now. But having said that, when the roles are in demand, you don't go get those skills. So these have grown faster for in demand, but the skills are not there in the industry. Believe me, like people are not end to end with like data warehouse, data bricks, and data lakes. So still we find difficulty in North America, in Asia, in Europe to get that right kind of data scientist and data engineer. But what it has done now, instead, it has divided this data scientist and data engineer into subgroups where the new hires are done in like HR manager, and it all depends on like system analyst, business analyst, finance manager, IT project manager, marketing manager, computer systems engineer, database admin. So they have divided this data engineer and data scientist into sub roles like data mining analyst. So a data engineer would do data mining, database admin, computer science engineer, and maybe a part of business analyst or maybe a system analyst. So they have divided this data engineer into so many different roles, and same as data scientists. So these roles have grown like multi-folds. All right. And so I kind of like work on this kind of role, marketing manager. Like mine is like marketing analytics. So yeah, so I have been like, I was lucky, and when I saw this graph, it was like very much that spoke about what is there in the current market, not only in North America but also in Asia. Um, and so the level of education for um, US employees want to be enabled with job in terms of analytics. So the level of education that the company is looking for analytics job, like if you want these are analytics jobs. So you just have to be a bachelor, and I guess the same goes for Indian companies, Indian employers. All right, you do hardly the 4% of it are masters and 1% is PhD. But when it comes down to data scientists, like advanced analyst, like data scientist is like uh, it's like kind of like I'm an astronaut, all right? So I'm a front end of NASA, but the people who are developing that rocket are scientists, those are at the ground. So that's a difference. So that's the difference between analytics and data scientists, all right? And data scientists are more into like the science of the data, and they train the data to be learning on its own, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and then you get those all in the front end, which is the analytics team that does. But this has a bigger scope in terms of your masters. So 59% of them are bachelors. 27% are demanding for masters in terms of employees, and 12% PhD. Look at this percentage. It raised by 11% in terms of analytics, and in terms of masters, it's a huge growth. It's a difference of like 23%, which is massive in terms of master's degree from analytics enabled jobs to data scientists and advanced analysts. So you've got to be figuring out what you want in terms of the roles, all right? So if you are a bachelor uh, and you want to go into analytics, you would be good with analytics jobs. But if you are looking for a data scientist, you have to do a master's because the industry is demanding more masters, right? Well, I'm not saying you are not intelligent, but you might not fall into this 59%. So you have to do this master's to fall into this 27%, right? But this 86% is the majority, and I hope majority of you guys will fall into this and not into the 4% of masters, all right? So that's how the education industry skills are developing and changing every month, every day. And with pandemic, we would definitely have new job roles coming for the future. Believe me. And when I say education industry skills, all right, so there are two basic parts for um, data science and analytics enabled jobs. So like there are differentiation, but when you see this, now you just saw that previously analytics enabled job industry bachelors were 86%, right? So when you say bachelors, and now you see that majority of the dots are into analytics enabled jobs, right? And that's the industry demand, like 43% in information and 23% data driven decision makers and functional analysts are for analytics enabled job. That means that when industries accepting bachelors, right? They People are reluctant to do their masters because they are liking this kind of analytical job, and that's what the data says. I'm not disowning these, but honestly speaking, guys, this is more dedication. Data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts are more dedication because you have to, for example, if you directly go for your master's and then you get a job, so obviously the majority chunk of 86% is falling over here, and then whatever is the 13% remaining of this, that becomes the 100% of the total, and from that 57% is being accepted for the masters. All right, so I would say like people are generally looking more at analytic enabled job versus data science enabled job, just because it gives you first a basic knowledge about what analytic world is, and then they try to do their masters and hop onto data science or data engineer or become data analyst, all right? But the demand in terms of the industry is that more analytics job, all right? Because right now the industry has not got is not prepared for like the core data science, the core MIAL, but they are getting prepared. So when I say industry is getting prepared, that means it will take time for those jobs, for this percentage to go up, for this percentage over here to go up. All right. So right now, this percentage, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, you would see a massive shift on these circles coming down and these circles going up. Who knows, right? But I'm saying right now, this is the scenario as per the PwC survey. So if you want to go to finance and insurance, healthcare, information, manufacturing, or maybe professional, scientific, and technical services or retail trade, I guess the analyticals job are more more attractive, and you get more job roles over there. Um, yeah. So based on the job roles, if I break it down, so this is like fundamental, like whatever fundamental of analytics, and this color is like intermediate, like, and this is like advanced of analytics or whatever advanced in that field. So you see domain knowledge, research, like if you're doing into research and business for functional, like it should be like kind of advanced. There is this role called visualization, which we call it like reporting analyst. So for them, data driven is not that much, but when you do a functional analysis of it, it's a lot, and it also involves a lot of data analysis. So it becomes directly important in the data science field. Data governance. We don't talk about data governance too much in India, but now with cybersecurity and all stuff's happening, people directly form the majority of like in data engineers and data scientists, because data governance involves a lot of like science towards the data and cultivating that data into into a path where nobody else, no hacker can hack it. So kind of like securing the data with ethics and security. So that becomes an integral part of data engineers, data scientists, engineers, hardware, software, storage, like mechanical engineers, software, computer science, and all. They are getting more into like obviously data engineers and data scientists because it's more data driven and right and management. Like in management industry, we have more data engineers and scientists. I'm shocked to see like we don't have data driven decision makers over here. And obviously machine learning has a core section of like data engineers, because majority of the machine learning falls in data science, and there's nothing analytical or data driven analysis that you do in these fields in machine learning. It's all teaching the computer, it's all about data, it's nothing about like business in machine learning, because once the machine learning comes up, then it goes to business. So it's like this is like entirely on this part. So if you have any questions regarding this graph or these two graphs, please let me know, because these are very interesting graphs overall. So that's like how education, industry, and skills are related in now changing data analytics world. All right. So when we say changing data analytics world, so we are having changing times and changing terms. So social media, there are some terms that has changed. Sentiment analysis, people buy on sentiments. For example, your brother bought a shoe, and you like that shoe, but as a big brother, he's not letting you to try it. You will definitely buy it after a few years once you start earning, right? So that sentiment analysis, cross selling, like if I am like selling this product in a discounted rate, and then with that product, the other product would be related. So I will buy that product even though it has a higher price, and so all those stuff. So these terminologies, I won't drill too much into it. You can have questions afterwards, but yeah, these are terminologies that are changing with changing times of data analytics. Similarly, with industry terms and all, identifying customers, recommending products, analyzing reviews and all, manufacturing terms are changing in banking sector because of fraud. Usually, when I was there, there was hardly any robust machines of like credit cards when I was small, but so there was less fraud. Now, with more diverse technology and benefits, fraud has increased, cyber breach has increased, so cybersecurity fraud detection has increased. So, and similarly, and like now we are talking about Tesla, self-driving cars, car monitoring system. I'm pretty sure you guys are thinking about so many fourth year projects based on this. So the changing world, you can determine new projects as well for your fourth year. Um, um, so now I'm jumping to a very specific thing like how role specific in data analytics world. So I have broadly classified into 4 or 5 roles in data analytics that is like in huge demand right now. So how those roles are related with some specific tools, because to be very honest, when you guys perform as anything in data analytics world, like a reporting analyst or a data analyst or an engineer or a data scientist or a business analyst or a functional analyst, if you don't know the tool, like you can't perform, right? It's like telling a farmer to cultivate the land without any tool, like without any axe or without any plow or something like you cannot do that, or telling a carpenter to build a craft without any carpentry tools. So you cannot perform those roles if you don't know the right tools, right? It's very necessary nowadays to learn those tools and make your tools diverse in whichever field, in terms of the Venn diagram that I showed you in the new age career graph, in whichever field you want to get into, you have to know those specific tools in order to grab and master that position, and to grab that role in the industry, because things are getting competitive as well with changing data analytics world. So yeah, major job role, one of them is reporting analyst, um, data analyst, engineer. So this goes hand in hand, data analyst and engineer. So you first become a data analyst, and now then you promote yourself to be a data engineer after a few years, once you know all the hooks and crooks of data analytics. Then, as I said, the core role of data science is data scientist. So you have to know mathematics, you have to know computer science, you have to have the business domain, all the three circles, conjunctions into like one core part where all the three circles meet at a common area, which is data science, and the role is called data scientist. If you want to stick to just business analytics or like anything which is like mathematics and business, which becomes business analyst, functional analyst, or financial analyst. So yeah, it's that part of the circle that I'm referring to. All right. So these are the 4 broadly classified roles that are there in the market right now, not only in North America, but also like especially in India and Asia, because nowadays people are looking more into this, and probably this. So this item is this role is very the skills are very scarce right now. If you guys can pull this off, hats off. But I would say you guys should look into this role, or maybe this role for whatever interest you. So that these are 4 broad classified roles right now in data analytics field. So I would drill down to reporting analyst. So what tools are used in reporting analyst. So if I look into the tools that has been used by reporting analysts, I would say Tableau. I don't know whether you guys heard about this, but what reporting analyst does is like grab all the data, the ad hoc data that has been built by a data engineer or a data analyst, and then they try to make it a story in a visualization tool by some creative stuff, just blending the data, joining two datas, um, or maybe yeah, and adding filters, adding custom filters, blending two or three datas. So that's kind of like a very good domain right now. These are the top visualization tools that is there, and I have worked on Tableau desktop. Like I mastered it in terms of certification and all, and right now I'm mastering Microsoft Power BI in my current company. This is better in terms of like if you're working in Microsoft Azure cloud versus Microsoft SQL Server and Microsoft, and then the visualization tool. This is way better. Tableau is bought by Salesforce right now, but it can integrate and it has a better visualization. But Microsoft Power BI has a better data blending, and you have got other visualization tools as well. MATLAB. It's not the MATLAB that we do as electronics communication engineer, but it's kind of like a tool that we have right now. And Sisense. It's also kind of a visualization tool. So yeah, you can. Sorry, you can try that. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so you can try that. And I guess by student ID, this is free, and also this is free. You can't have a large data, like very big data to operate, but you can always download it on your computer, Microsoft Power BI or Tableau Desktop. They give student license for Tableau Desktop, and this Microsoft Power BI is completely free. It's not, you don't have to do anything based on student license and all. So you guys can download that, and there's a site called Kaggle where you get problem statements, you get data sets, and you can download the data sets. First, learn obviously how these work, get the basics, and then you can try some data visualizations on these, and then try to check the answers. And obviously, you can obviously put these in your resume that I have done this, and it's and the recruiters would be like fascinated to see this. Obviously, the one that is right now coming up, it's not there, is Google Data Studio. And I believe this will be a massive thing in future. Google has just started this. If you guys can, if you guys have a Google, everyone, most of us have Google ID. So try going into it, try learning it. It will be massive. It will be massive. Like I'm telling you guys, like this is a very good upcoming visualization tool. So if you guys can learn it, and this is free. You don't have to like do anything. Even the certification is free. So you have got the right opportunity. So grab it. Google is giving it for free. Google doesn't give anything for free, all right? So if Google is giving this one for free, go for it. So these are the massive tools that have been used by our reporting analyst. Sorry. So if you guys, yeah, the slide is there. You guys can note it afterwards. Um, I just want to be at the hour, so I'm just mindful of the time. So the data analyst engineer role, all right? So we'll see what tools are used in data analyst and engineer. So this is basically a broad classification of, again, the three Venn diagrams, which is different from that career graph. So basically you look into this domain where you're using as a Hadoop MapReduce for all the ETLs, extract, transform, load data, right? Or maybe like warehousing, data warehousing, or data processing, because large data comes with like the demand, like you have to clean it, you have to process the large data. So this becomes an integral part of data engineer. And there's a tool also called data design and modeling, because if you're doing some statistics on the data, that becomes a data design and data modeling, and the software is called SAS. And if you're just storing the data somewhere, it can be in SQL, it can be in Excel, which is believe me guys, Excel is the first ancient database that we have. Excel has a lot to do. Don't underestimate Excel. Excel has a lot to do, all right? SQL, you guys can learn SQL and create that database, all right? So having that database knowledge is also a very important skill. And then a part of the data journalist as a data engineer would be data visualization, or like, like what I used to do in TCS, like web developer, like HTML and CSS, creating web pages and grabbing the data on the web pages. So you guys can hop onto that, or maybe like you guys just want to stay with data mining, like like data mining has a vast field. If I try to explain data mining or data management, it would take me like a completely new session to like drill down. So I'm just these are like just the touching the top parts of like data analyst, how where as a data analyst and data engineer, what different types of roles and softwares that you can use, right? Um, so tools used as a data analyst and as a data engineer. Yeah, the salary is like you don't. Yeah, like honestly, guys, don't think about salary. But these are the tools that and the skills that you need for the data analyst, and the responsibilities are curate the data. Obviously, like clean the data and curate the data to be a healthy data, and visualize and report. So you need Excel, SQL, Tableau that I mentioned. Like Tableau comes as a reporting analyst, but if you're doing as a data analyst, you can also do a work of a reporting analyst plus a data analyst. That becomes handy. So people nowadays are doing more sort of industries are more demanding for like data analysts, because they are also performing the role of reporting analyst, and they have to pay just like what, like the money of data analyst and the work of two, like work of a reporting analyst and a data analyst. And the skills are obviously analytics, communication, and visualization. You don't face the business often, it's very rare, but when it jumps down to data engineer. So for example, now when you're doing engineering, you're building something, right? You're innovating something. So you're innovating something based on data. So it becomes like you're actually innovating the new form of data. Like data was not there in that form. So it comes with responsibilities like build data pipelines and warehouse, like obviously new workflows of data pipelines and warehouses, like the storage places. The scalability of the data products, like if the company is demanding more data, then how compressed data you can be able to give it to give it to the analyst or to the business to decide on like more data in a quick time. And the tools used are, these are more technical tools over here. As a data engineer, you use Java, C++, Kubernetes, Hadoop, Spark, and Python. So if you guys are looking something like very core coding or model implementation as a skill, you can grab these tools. You don't face the business because you're actually doing the backend work, which is building the entire data pipelines and warehouse. So if the business goes wrong, nothing. If the data goes wrong, you face it. But if the business goes wrong, you're not really exposed to the business. Salaries are good, cap. So guys, this is like more like somewhere middle facing the business sometimes, but this is like core backend. Um, the workflow of the data analyst. So as I said, it's data science, a data engineer, and line of business. But you build the data bricks, and then you automate the workflow of the data. You optimize input output. Um, you do it on the cloud, so like serverless. And then there are applications to this. Once you do this, so then it's the application comes like as a reporting. You can like a data scientist can grab that for deep learning or a machine learning. As a reporting, I can grab those data, or maybe as a reporting analyst, or maybe like I just store that data in a SQL once this data warehouse and workflows are done. So these are kind of like a good workflow of how a data analyst and engineer has to perform. Um, Coming down to data scientist, which is the core of our Venn diagram of data science and data analytics. So when I say tools used, so it's massive. Like as I said, it's massive. So you have to know one part of like storing data, which is one of the databases. And then you have to know Hadoop to Hadoop or other ETL softwares to convert that data and extract, transform, and load, and then transform the data. And then if you want to do more quick search, like some extrapolatory analysis, like quick by quick search, you have to know like elastic searches and all. If you want to generate, sorry, my bad. If you want to generate more build and generate more insights, you have to know more statistical data, which comes from like SAP HANA or SAS or like Panda, Python. Now Julia is coming up. It's a very good one. You guys should read about Julia, then MATLAB, R. So, and then visualization comes down to Tableau. There's a Cognos tool, Power BI. Yeah, and then once you have that, and then you want to execute a model in terms of a data scientist, you have Hadoop, where you can do your data modeling, C hash, like yeah, like advanced version of C sharp, we call it. Then Spark, Apache Spark, Scala. So it's a vast field, guys. So you have to know all this, and then you become a data scientist. So data scientist is like no joke. All right. Um, Workflow of a data scientist. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. So these are the workflows of a data scientist. Like you have a data storage, you have a data transformation, you model the data, you visualize the data. You have other tools where you can leverage and do more advanced analytics to the data or advanced science to the data. So we can always drill deeper if you guys have questions to this. All right. So, but if you do this part, it becomes data analyst. If you do only 1, 2, 3, it becomes data engineer. If you do all, it becomes a data scientist. All right. Now coming down to the business and the functional analyst, which is like business analytics, people who are interested in mathematics and business. So it's a very business and tech oriented tools. You won't find like too much of techies, but you will find business jargons and tech jargons. So process flow diagram, which is kind of at the business level, business process model, it's at the business level. Use cases are at software level. So we keep on like doing datas and use cases where we have wireframes, we have different decision trees, wireframes where we are trying to grab relationships and all, and at the information level, we do a entity relationship diagram, how the data mapping takes place. Data dictionary, we have like terminologies to decide on like, oh, this term is right, this term is wrong. So it's kind of like a mixture of all functional and technical jargons. And the majority part and the other part, apart from analysis, is the communication. As I mentioned, a communication has a big role in business analyst or a functional analyst or a financial analyst. So you've got to know the user story. You've got to tell a story from the data. You've got to communicate to the senior leadership or to the board of directors or to your manager or to your director or vice president that this is how the data is blending, and this is how it's becoming a part of business strategy, or this is how the strategy is going wrong. So communication plays a huge factor, and when I do marketing analytics, communication do play a very huge factor. Tools used as a business and a functional financial analyst are like you can be, so you can use Excel, but when you get into like financial analyst, so this is basically a financial analyst tools that the earlier one that I showed you is basically a business analyst or a functional analyst tools. So talking, communicating, data analysis, data wireframes. But these are more of functional analysts, financial analysts, where you do more of like finance terms like portfolio management, investments, asset valuations. So these are the topic focus, and we can always drill down onto how these things perform. But you guys can master Excel, because Excel is the most ancient statistical tool that we have, and we can build some we can build some financial model or business models or a visualization chart at Excel level. So guys, honestly, Excel has a huge scope based on business and or financial analyst or functional analyst. Um, that's it for me. Yeah, I'm glad that I finished at the hour. So um, yeah, if I can unshare my screen. Um, yeah, so guys, if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Abhishek. It was an informative session. So we shall wait for a few questions. If anybody has questions, we'll.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys can go ahead and unmute, and anyone can ask directly a question or whatever. I don't know how is the
If anyone has doubt, you can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute and you can ask. Please, better if you give your question in the chat box.
yeah, and somebody can read it out. And please tell the name of the person. Please write your name, like whoever so is asking the question, so that it's addressed to the right guy or the right girl, right? All right. I'm waiting for you guys. In which domain would deep learning come? Oh, deep learning would come in data science, like machine learning, and like machine learning is the first step of deep learning. So Ritesh Shet has asked that. So yeah, deep learning would come into like data engineer or data science. Yeah.
Okay. Abhishek, we have one more question.
Yeah. Please.
How can I really get into it? I know from where I should start. Question is, how can
So
I really get into it? I know
okay, got it.
should
Yeah,
I
it's
start?
I see that. I see that question. It's like asked by Nidhi Sharma, right? So, yeah. So Nidhi, like honestly, you can get into it as a like reporting analyst or like the. I don't know whether you're good at coding or you like more. It basically depends on what domain you like. Like if you like mathematics, you can get into like and you like business, so you can get into business analytics. If you like maths and so fine, you do like maths. So like yeah, so then I would say if you do like maths and computer, you can get into machine learning, or maybe start with reporting analytics where you do with all the data and all right, and then try to get into data. And once you get the industry experience, you jump into data analyst or data engineer, and then finally, if you like, you can become a data scientist. But if you like mathematics and business, you can get into business analytics, which is like reporting analyst. Okay. Uh, yeah. So in which domain? Okay. So that's which role is a. So Vishwas N asked me which role is good for a person who is good in computer science and this which role. So to start with Vishwas, I guess it's data analyst for sure. Yeah, it's data analyst for sure. That role is a good one for data analyst.
We have one
Um,
more question.
yes, go ahead.
Can you say about data cloud?
So
Any about data
yeah, so
cloud?
data cloud is like right now Azure cloud or AWS. It's like earlier what happened was like when data it's simple, like it's not simple, but I'm trying to make it simple for you guys. uh, Earlier when the data was kept, they had to be at a local server level or a huge server maybe a so for example wherever the data of SSITs are kept, SSIT data, they are at a server, right? Now when the industry is developing, like more data is coming every day, so I have to have more space, right? I cannot have a fixed storage place. So I have to shift that to a cloud. It's like a virtual space. So virtual space is called a data cloud. Does that answer your question, Tilak? I hope it answers your question. Okay. Shall I drill down to the other question? Sanjana asked me that which data tool is more used by ITs? Sanjana, like basically, it depends on what role you're performing. It's not a particular tool, but depend on the tool. So, if, for example, if you're performing a role of reporting analyst in IT, according to the industry, you might use Tableau, Power BI, whatever your company is capable to handle or buy. If you're using a data analyst and you're using a data warehouse, you can use Hadoop, you can use Apache, Spark. You can use Azure for data warehousing. Yeah, so it's really depends on what role you're doing actually. So which data tool is in trend? Again, like guys, the data tool is like the tool that the data says is like it basically depends on the role. Like it's like if the role is like reporting analyst, then I guess for reporting analyst it would be like I guess Power BI is in trend, and then Hadoop. It's for data warehousing or data storage or ETL. That's in trend. Python obviously is in trend. Yeah, so data tool is a very generic term, guys. So it really depends on the role that you're performing, right? Um, Anubhav asked me that, hi Anubhav, I know you. does does learning Google Analytics help in a way in starting? Yeah, for sure. It helps. Nowadays, people like I do perform. Sorry, I didn't mention about Google Analytics. I mentioned about Google Studio. But yeah, one part of data where data storage or is Google Analytics, and people are now moving with this pandemic. People are buying so much e-com and virtual. They're buying through e-commerce websites and all. So I guess if you learn Google Analytics, and Google Analytics is free, mind you, guys, it's free, and you just have to have a Google account, make one of your property account and views in Google, and then you can get started with the different data. So yeah. Anubhav, you can all obviously start learning Google Analytics, and that would definitely be a very big boost in a career as a data analyst for sure. Yeah. Rohan Paul asked me for becoming a data analyst, which tool plays a major role? Okay, so Rohan, like I guess the data warehouse, like like the data analyst in terms of like data extraction and cleaning and curating the data. I guess it's more SQL or Hadoop where you do that. Where the better tool that curates, I guess, Hadoop curates because it can indulge multiple data sources into one and then mix those multiple data sources and create a data break or a data lake, and then you can pull all the different types of KPIs into visualization. So yeah, that helps. So Hadoop, I would say. Um, what are the main skills required? So Anubhav says, I actually started learning it, but wanted to clarify. Okay, thank you, Anubhav. Satish asked me, what are the main skills required for data analyst? um, coding in like doing query in SQL warehouse or SQL, or doing query in like data warehouse, data storage, and then visualization, like how you use your visualization tool. That's really important, right? So that's those two skills. If you go through the slides, you will get the skills over there, so you will know what exact skills are required, and if you have more doubts, you can always reach out. um, Ritesh had asked me that, is it a really good practice using models like scaling for practicing ML algorithms, or should we do it from scratch? Like, uh, I mean, like, depends on like what stage are you in analyzing. If you're like, obviously you have cleaned the data, and then you want to start with like machine learning algorithms and all, you can obviously do that. I don't know what is scratch. So for me, the scratch is like trying to start from the building the data, and then like then trying to do machine learning to that. So if the data is not correct, if I do a machine learning to it, it would go wrong. So obviously try to build the data, and I'm assuming that you build the data already. So yeah, you can start from like like scale-learn, or like ML algorithms. Like it really depends on what kind of algorithm you're looking into. Like exactly. I'm not too much familiar with the data science role because I've not observed it, but yeah, I will definitely try to look into it, Ritesh, for sure. Um, Shreya asked me which platform is good for data analytics in healthcare. Okay. Healthcare, like honestly, depends on the company, Shreya, but what do you mean by platform? Like, is it a tool, or like, yeah, like I just want to know what do you mean by a platform? Oh, tool. Okay, got it. So tool means it's basically depends on the industry, right? Like you can like so basically once you know a tool, most of the similar tools have the same functionality. You don't like nobody will like tell like, hey, you know this tool and you don't know this, you have to know this. No, no, nothing like that. But like try to learn the tool that is more in demand, because that has some robust functionality, and you can always search Google search like tools that are more in demand for a data analyst, and you will get a list of it, right? And one of them is Google Analytics, as Anubhav rightly said. It's one of the good tools to be a part of. Well, you have in healthcare, you don't have more e-commerce, but if you're talking about healthcare, it would be, I would say, SQL, like Microsoft SQL or MySQL, and Tableau visualization is a must in healthcare. So yeah, so yeah. Um, okay, I answered that. Uh, Ritesh asked me, I meant if the algorithm I'm using is KNN, should I use sklearn or should I make my own? For I would say start with sklearn, right? And then once you are aware or you're going into the right direction, you can make your own algorithm. I would say start with the guidance. Start with the guidance, yeah. I would do the same. I would start with the guidance. Thank you for asking. Any other questions? Shreya, did that answer your question based on the tools?
Okay, Abhishek, I think we have answered many of the questions. Let's wait for a few more questions if they have. In
Great.
between, shall we have one question round
Sure, absolutely.
for the participants?
Absolutely. I'm
Uh,
I'm already up for
uh,
it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, participants, if you have any doubts, I mean questions, you can put it in the chat box. Yeah, I think we have questions. I think we can answer that and then go for the question round. What is the average accuracy of the models being used in healthcare sectors? Abhishek?
Yeah, I guess like to start with, the average accuracy would be around like 60 to 65. Like I have seen average accuracy around 60 to 65 and not more than that. Be very honest, right? So because you know there are many complexities to a body and healthcare. So accuracy is hard to achieve. It's hard to achieve, and it's a very good accuracy. If you have a model which performs at a 60 to 65% accuracy, you, you would be a profitable business in healthcare. You would be a very good data analyst or data engineer or data scientist for sure.
Okay, we have one more question from Manohar. I heard of the modelings, so is that how we analyze the data?
I heard of modeling, so is
Uh,
that how we? No, Manohar. Uh, Analyzing data starts from code data, right? And then, like, once you analyze a code data, then you clean the data, and then you get the data to the required form. Like, for example, like if you want to model on sales and customer sales, right? You will clean the data based on customer sales based on a time period or something. You will have that data set cleaned, and then you will start modeling. Modeling doesn't start at the very first level. Modeling starts after analyzation of the data and cleaning the data. So very first step when you get the data is you look into the data and you think what KPIs that you got, and you just try to clean the data with removing the bad data. And then once you remove the bad data, you jump into what the business problem tells and what KPIs you want, and then you make that ad hoc data where you are at the stage where the business problem, the data relates to the business problem, and you got the right KPIs, and then you start modeling.
okay. Now I've answered all the questions there in the chat. Now we'll have few questions for the participants. One who knows the answer, please put your answer in the chat box. Hope Abhishek will help us much in if that's not correct or he'll recorrect it. Okay. The first question is, what is the workflow of the data scientist?
Um, the workflow of a data scientist. Okay, so the work.
Let, let's wait for the participants to answer.
Okay,
What is the work of the data scientist?
Can we answer in the audio?
Yeah, please, if anybody knows.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
The answer works. If not, okay, you go ahead.
So workflow of data scientist, the first would be data store, then transform, model, visualize, and then other tools which you can utilize.
Okay. Abhishek?
yep, that's correct.
Correct.
That's right.
It's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
We'll have one more.
Sure.
Give the tool name which is having the elephant as a logo.
Okay, that's
Repeat.
nice.
Give the tool name which is having the elephant as a logo. Yeah, we are getting the answers.
The people
Yeah.
have concentrated. Yeah, I see. They are spot on, guys. You guys are spot on. Awesome. I'm glad that at least the presentation is successful, right? Thank you. Honestly, like right answers. Yep. Yeah.
Correct.
I'm
We'll have one more question.
sure. I will ask one like generic question at the end. All right, just to be just as a
Yeah, sure.
no. You can go ahead. You can go
Sure.
ahead. I will ask at the end. You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. What is the salary of data engineer as shown in the PPT? I repeat, what is the salary of the data engineer as shown in the PPT? Okay, we have few answers for it.
That's a good one. Do you know the conversion in Indian rupees for that?
Okay. Hope Abhishek is correct.
Yeah, it's 110K. And anybody tell me the conversion for that in Indian rupees, an Indian salary? Oh yeah, Sangeeta got it right. 86 lakhs. It's like you convert the US dollars, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
but honestly,
Okay.
guys,
We'll
don't
go.
look it into the salary. That's what they pay over here. But like if you guys come to North America, Canada, or US, I would be definitely wanting to meet you guys. I would want many more SSITians to come over here. Many more people from Karnataka come over here. Um, but yeah, but honestly, guys, I am very curious to know how many of you are wanting to get into like business analyst or data analyst or maybe reporting analyst. Like, what excites you? I want to know that.
Yeah. Question was not point again on the salary. It was just to know the attention which they have given during the
Yeah,
webinar.
exactly. I get it. They paid attention. I know that they are spot on. And Nidhi
Yeah.
and I guess somebody else, Sangeeta, are spot on with even the Indian salary. So those girls are really determined to get a good salary. I that's what I can determine.
Okay. One more.
Um,
Which was the tool shown in the webinar developed by Google for reporting analyst? I repeat, which was the tool shown in the webinar developed by Google for reporting analyst?
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, most of them
Correct
are
now?
right. Most of them are right. Google Data Studio. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we'll go with one more. Hope so. The last question. What is the percentage of data scientists who have master's degree as per shown in the PPT? I repeat, what is the percentage of data scientists who have master's degree as shown in the PPT?
Good one.
Yeah, yeah. Correct, it was 27%.
Yep. For data scientists. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, participants, for all your attention. The answer shows that you have, uh, with serious interest, you have attended the webinar. Hope it was informative. It looks like we have also covered all the questions.
Yep.
Abhishek, is there anything else you want to cover before a wrap up?
No, I'm glad to have you guys and to distribute my knowledge, whatever it is. I wish you guys all the best. Do keep working hard, keep working strong. These are challenging times, but you know, we will overcome it. So yeah, no worries. Any questions, any other doubts, or maybe we can connect sometime later to have more webinars such as these and more knowledge into some specific domain. Yeah, that's
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhishek.
no worries. I'm glad. I'm blessed. Yeah.
I also thank everyone and appreciate and thank you all for joining us for today's webinar. The URL for the feedback form will be uploaded in the chat box. Please fill the feedback form to receive your e-certificates. Thank you. Over to Kirtana.
Thank you, Sharda ma'am. Thank you, Abhishek sir. It would be an honor that you are here. So we'll be sharing the recording of this in our YouTube channel. If you have any clarifications, you can watch that. So the feedback will be shared now. Please do fill the form. Thank you for attending the webinar.
Thank you, guys. So should I drop? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek sir. It was
Thank you,
very
everyone.
informative and
Yeah.
it was very informative and yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the
Oh,
time and
I'm
being
just,
with us.
I just wish IEEE members and those who organize, professors, those who helped, like honestly, like having this on on board and getting this like organized in a quick time. Yeah, commendable job. Way to go, Ashwarya. Way to go, other team members. Right, great job. You guys are doing good. Keep up the spirit. All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
No worries. Anytime. All right. So it's 4 a.m. in the morning. So should I drop off?
Yeah, sir, sure.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
All the
Abhishek, sir.
professors.
Have a nice sleep.
Sure. Thank you, all the professors. Thank you, my fellow friends. It's great catching you guys. I hope this session was great enough for have some information to you. And thanks, guys. Thanks. It was commendable to organize this in a very short time. Awesome. Awesome job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Take care, guys. Bye. Stay safe. Bye. Take care.
Hello? Hello?
Meeting.
Yes, for sure.
ನೀವೇ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಲೀವ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್